Imagine this scene. It is a Friday evening. The city outside is finally quieting down, and you are unwinding after a long, tiring week. You've settled into your favorite spot on the sofa, the lights are low, and the only glow comes from the small screen in your hand. You're scrolling, almost on autopilot, through your social media feed. It's a familiar ritual, a way to disconnect from the pressures of work and reconnect with the wider world. You see snippets of other people's lives, vacation photos, family gatherings, professional milestones. It's a passive, comfortable experience. Then, a notification pops up. A friend from university, someone you haven't seen in years but whose life you've followed through these digital windows, has just posted a photo. You tap on it. There he is, standing beside a gleaming new sports car. It's not just any car. It's the kind you've only seen in magazines or blockbuster movies, a machine of polished chrome and impossible curves. The paint job is so deep it looks like liquid, reflecting the twilight sky above. He's leaning against it casually, a confident smile on his face. The caption is short, almost nonchalant. "Treated myself." Instantly, the post explodes. The comments flood in, a cascade of fire emojis, clapping hands, and phrases like, "You deserve it," and "living the dream." The likes tick upward relentlessly. It's a digital standing ovation, and as you watch this unfold, for a brief, involuntary moment, a pang of envy hits you. It's a sharp, quiet feeling that rises unexpectedly. You glance around your own living room. It's perfectly fine, comfortable, a space you've carefully curated to be your sanctuary. Just moments ago, it felt like enough. But now, seen through the filter of your friend's new acquisition, it suddenly feels a little less adequate. The sofa seems a bit worn, the TV a little small. The contentment you felt has been pricked, and a subtle dissatisfaction begins to seep in. A thought flickers in your mind, uninvited but persistent. Maybe it is time for an upgrade. Maybe you've been working just as hard. Maybe you deserve a little treat too. You find your thumb drifting towards a shopping app just to look, just to see. This feeling is not unique to you. It is a deeply human and increasingly common experience in our hyper-connected world. It's the modern-day version of keeping up with the Joneses, except now, the Joneses are everyone, everywhere, all the time. We are surrounded, constantly, by carefully curated images of success, wealth, and happiness. Our feeds are highlight reels, showcasing the peak moments of life, polished to perfection. And let's be honest, showing off, or flexing, feels good. That rush of validation from likes and comments makes us feel seen, admired, and successful. It's a powerful psychological reward. But what if the pride of that new purchase, the temporary glow of that online admiration, masks a much higher, hidden price? What are the costs that the filtered photos and celebratory captions never show? This essay pulls back that glittering curtain. We are going to move beyond the shiny surface of status symbols and dig into the facts, the cold, hard numbers, and the quiet human stories. We'll look at the impact on our money, our time, our mental health, our relationships, and even our shared environment. We will examine precisely how the chase for status drains our bank accounts, steals our precious time, frays our minds with anxiety, strains the bonds of love and friendship, and places an unsustainable stress on our planet. Consider a story like Anna's. She buys a designer dress she can't quite afford for a single event. The social media post gets the likes, the compliments, the temporary boost of feeling glamorous and admired. But what follows is the mounting credit card debt, the extra hours she has to work to pay it off, and the slow-building stress that keeps her up at night. The seductive glint of the purchase is fleeting, but the bills, both financial and emotional, always come due. In this endless cycle of wanting, buying, and showing, what are we truly paying for? The desire to display status is not just a fleeting feeling or a simple matter of vanity. It is a powerful, deeply ingrained, and, most importantly, measurable economic behavior. It's a force that has shaped societies for centuries, a social grammar written in the language of possessions. Long before the digital age, economist Thorstein Veblen identified this phenomenon, calling it conspicuous consumption, the act of spending money on luxury goods and services to publicly display economic power. This isn't about acquiring things for their utility, but for their ability to broadcast a message about who we are or who we want to be. It's the silent, universal language of the latter, and for many, the primary motivation behind the question, what's next? When we dive into the data, the scale of this behavior becomes startlingly clear. Modern economic and psychological studies consistently find that a significant share of our spending is driven not by fundamental need, but by the intricate dance of signaling social standing. Some analyses suggest that for certain income brackets, as much as 30 to 40% of discretionary spending can be attributed to positional goods, items whose value is derived almost exclusively from how they compare to what others own. This isn't a fringe activity. It's a mainstream economic engine, quietly influencing the choices we make every single day, from our morning coffee to our choice of neighborhood. This pressure is not abstract. It's a tangible weight on millions of households. A recent survey revealed that nearly a quarter of Americans feel significant pressure to spend beyond their means simply to keep up with the perceived lifestyles of their friends and family. Another study puts that number even higher, finding that for millennials and Gen Z, the pressure is closer to 40%. It's the quiet anxiety that surfaces when a friend announces a lavish destination wedding, or a cousin posts photos of a major home renovation. The fear isn't just about missing out on an experience. It's the deeper fear of being left behind, of being seen as less successful or less capable. Let's look at some concrete examples. The automotive industry is a classic case study. A brand new luxury car can easily cost tens of thousands of dollars more than a perfectly reliable, comfortable, and safe sedan that performs the exact same fundamental job, getting you from point A to point B. That price difference isn't for superior engineering alone. A large portion of it is a premium paid for the emblem on the hood and the cultural message it carries. You are not just buying transportation. You are buying entry into a club, a visible declaration of achievement. The extra cost is the price of the story the car tells about you every time you drive it. The same pattern repeats on an accelerated timeline with our personal technology. Flagship phones are upgraded with near-religious annual fervor, not because the old one has stopped working, but for features that offer marginal, often unnoticeable improvements. A slightly better camera, a millimeter thinner profile, a novel software trick. The real driver for many is the social signal of having the latest model. It's a small, pocket-sized billboard that says, "I am current, I am successful, I have the best." The old phone, still perfectly capable of calls, texts, and browsing, is relegated to a drawer, its obsolescence manufactured not by technology, but by marketing and culture. In the world of fashion, this cycle is pushed to its extreme. Fast fashion has weaponized trends, accelerating their turnover from seasons to mere weeks. This relentless churn creates a powerful pressure to constantly refresh our wardrobes. The result? An explosion in consumption. Studies show the average consumer now buys 60% more clothing than they did just 15 years ago, yet keeps each item for only half as long. Many of these garments are worn only a handful of times before being discarded, deemed out of style by the same system that promoted them just months earlier. The closet becomes a revolving door, driven by the need to stay current in the social conversation. Perhaps the largest and most impactful status symbol is where we live. The pressure for a larger home in a better neighborhood is a cornerstone of the modern dream. Over the past few decades, the average size of a new single-family home has ballooned, even as average family sizes have shrunk. This isn't about needing more space for more people, it's about what that space signifies. A bigger house, a greener lawn, a more prestigious zip code. These are powerful signals of success and stability. The financial strain can be immense, with mortgages consuming a disproportionate share of income, all in service of securing a home that functions as both shelter and a statement. Even our leisure time has become a competitive sport. Travel, once a personal pursuit of rest or exploration, is now often curated for public consumption. The rise of Instagrammable tourism means destinations are chosen not just for the experience, but for their photo potential. People spend more on boutique hotels, exclusive tours, and picturesque meals, all to capture the perfect shot that signals a life of adventure and sophistication. The experience itself can become secondary to the act of documenting it for an audience, turning relaxation into a performance. And at the heart of this modern acceleration is the digital stage of social media. It has transformed the game of keeping up from a neighborhood affair into a global 24/7 spectacle. We are no longer just comparing ourselves to our immediate neighbors. We are comparing our real, messy lives to the perfectly curated highlight reels of thousands. Social media provides a massive, frictionless platform for the display of wealth and status, and our brains, wired for social comparison, can't help but take notice. Comparison becomes constant, effortless, and often subconscious. The data here is unequivocal. Multiple studies have established a direct correlation. The more time individuals spend on image-based social media platforms, the higher their reported levels of spending on status-related goods and services. This constant exposure to curated perfection creates a powerful, persistent pull, a feeling that what we have is not enough. It's the gnawing fear of falling behind, of being the only one not participating. And so, with a simple tap, we join the cycle, chasing a standard that is always moving just out of reach. The numbers across every category paint a clear and consistent picture. We are a culture that spends heavily not just for function, but for show. From the car in the driveway to the phone in our pocket, from the clothes on our back to the vacations we post online, a significant portion of our economic activity is a broadcast. The digital world didn't create this impulse, but it has amplified it to an unprecedented degree, making the stage bigger and the audience larger than ever before. And we are all participants, with every like, every share, and every purchase that prioritizes the message over the meaning. The most immediate cost of flexing is financial strain. Credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later, instant gratification with interest attached. A $2,000 purchase can cost hundreds or thousands more if balances linger. The final price is higher than the tag. Debt breeds chronic stress, linked to high blood pressure, insomnia, depression. The thrill fades quickly. The stress can linger for years. Items meant to signal ease become sources of unease. Maintaining status consumes time, researching, buying, curating an online persona. Financing the lifestyle means longer hours or second jobs. That time is stolen from family, hobbies, exercise, and rest. A man buys an expensive car to look successful. Extra shifts follow. He sees his children less, relationships strain. He owns the car, but the car also owns him. The true cost of keeping up appearances isn't just measured in dollars and cents. It's a debt that quietly accrues in our social lives, our closest relationships, and even in the health of the world we all share. When we use flexing to gain approval, we often end up damaging the very connections we seek to enhance. It begins subtly. A friend shares a picture of their extravagant vacation, and instead of feeling happy for them, you feel a pang of something else, a mix of envy and distance. Suddenly, a gap forms. Friends with different financial realities may start to feel inadequate or quietly jealous. They might stop suggesting get-togethers, assuming they can no longer afford to participate in your new lifestyle. The easy camaraderie is replaced by a careful dance around topics of money and spending. This withdrawal isn't a judgment against you, but a form of self-preservation. It's an exhausting emotional burden to constantly feel like you're falling short, or that your life is being measured against a material yardstick you can't match. The shared ground that once nurtured the friendship begins to erode. And what about the new connections we make? If you lead with your possessions, you will inevitably attract people who are more interested in what you have than who you are. These are the status chasers, drawn to the shine of success. But these bonds are inherently transactional and fragile. They are contingent on the party invitations, the access, the reflected glory. When the circumstances change, or when a more impressive connection comes along, these fair-weather friends often disappear, revealing the hollow foundation upon which the relationship was built. This performance of success also chips away at our authenticity. When someone is always on, curating their life for an audience, their sincerity becomes hard to read. Genuine connection requires vulnerability, but a flex is a suit of armor. Friends and partners begin to wonder, are they sharing a moment with a person or with a persona? Their motives get questioned. Is this gift an act of generosity or a display of wealth? Is this invitation about spending time together or about having an audience for a new purchase? This constant doubt creates a profound sense of loneliness. Within our own homes, this pressure can become a source of deep conflict. In a partnership, one person's compulsive need to flex can collide directly with the other's need for financial security and shared goals. The new car that appears in the driveway without discussion, the credit card statements hidden at the bottom of a drawer. These aren't just financial indiscretions. They are breaches of trust. They create a dynamic where one partner feels perpetually anxious, trying to build a stable future while the other is focused on projecting a successful present. And our children are always watching. They are sponges, absorbing the values we model. When they see that status is paramount, they internalize those lessons, learning to judge themselves and others not by their character, kindness, or curiosity, but by the things they own. This can set them on their own path of anxiety and comparison, a generational echo of the same pressures. The social toll of all this can be a deep and painful isolation, the feeling of being alone even in a crowded room, disconnected from those you should be closest to. The consequences of this endless cycle of consumption ripple far beyond our personal lives. They impact the planet itself. Every act of conspicuous consumption, from the latest gadget to the luxury flight, carries an environmental price tag. This collective flexing strains our planet's finite resources, contributing to pollution, carbon emissions, and staggering amounts of waste. The pursuit of more is a direct driver of environmental degradation. Consider the world of fast fashion, an industry built on the premise of flexing new trends every week. This relentless churn is a major contributor to global water pollution from textile dyes, astronomical carbon emissions from manufacturing and shipping, and mountains of discarded clothing in landfills. We buy, wear a few times, and discard, all to maintain an image, leaving a trail of environmental destruction in our wake. This pattern repeats across sectors. Bigger homes require more energy to heat and cool. Larger, less efficient cars burn more fossil fuels. Even our digital flexing, storing thousands of high-resolution photos and videos to curate our online lives, has a physical cost, powered by massive, energy-hungry data centers. Each individual choice may seem small, but collectively, the energy costs add up to a significant global burden. Finally, the constant public display of extreme wealth sharpens societal divides. It creates an ever-present, often unattainable vision of the good life. For those struggling to make ends meet, this relentless showcase doesn't inspire. It breeds resentment and a sense of hopelessness. It can fuel social friction and push people toward risky financial choices as they desperately try to chase an idealized image that is always just out of reach. Perhaps the most profound consequence is a cultural one. When possessions and wealth become the primary definitions of success, we inherently devalue the things that truly enrich human existence. We devalue the quiet dedication of a caregiver, the passion of an artist, the patience of a teacher, and the strength of a community. We sideline care, creativity, and connection in favor of consumption. We trade the things that last for the things that are merely new. Status is a moving target. The trends that define it are always changing. This year's pinnacle is replaced by next year's faster, more advanced model. The it bag becomes the back of closet bag. You strive, buy, feel a boost, then adapt. To feel the same, you have to keep running. A flexing lifestyle is a recipe for chronic dissatisfaction and stress. There is always another upgrade on the horizon. The finish line keeps moving. The race has no end. Even those who seem to have it all find neighbors with more. Status bars constantly raised. Trying to win the status game is like filling a leaky bucket. It never stays full. The only way to win is to stop playing. Step off the treadmill and walk toward what actually lasts. You can step off the status treadmill. Escaping is not deprivation. It is choosing with intention. When the urge hits, wait at least 1 week. Ask, am I buying for genuine use or to impress? That simple pause can be transformative. Track income and expenses for a month. See how much goes to show. Cut one status purchase each month. Redirect to goals. Pay debt, build an emergency fund, or save for an experience. Experiences deliver more durable happiness than goods. When you buy, prioritize quality, durability, usefulness. Be a curator, not a collector of signals. Money buys security, peace of mind, and options. Spend time on people you love and passions that light you up. Before your next non-essential buy, ask, will this help me build the life I want in 5 years? We toured the showroom of flexing and read the hidden price tags. The chase brings debt and stress, corrodes relationships, harms the planet, and steals freedom. A thing brings fleeting joy. The costs endure. Fewer ostentatious displays do not mean an empty life. They make room for what matters. Imagine wealth as security, peace, options, and connection. This life is built one conscious choice at a time. Before the next impulse, stop. If the answer serves your 5-year life, enjoy. If not, gift yourself the wait. The flashy allure is now. The hidden costs cast a long shadow. Choose what lasts. Invest in your freedom.